There are many challenges that come with being a woman. Although times change and society is evolving, women often find themselves in a position where they are invited to become a secondary character instead of the main character in their own story. Women are expected to be likable, and we can see it through all the media, magazines, and brands selling us how to be more beautiful. Women are also expected to commit to many roles and to do it to perfection. She has to be a good mother. She has to be a good spouse. She has to be 1,000 things to 1,000 people, but rarely to herself. Society often defines women by their roles and what is expected from them, without seeing their full humanity. But are we asking ourselves, how do these expectations impact women's wellness and sense of well-being? Imagine if women felt the necessary freedom and the necessary support to be whoever they wanted to be without fearing the judgment of society. I was born in Congo, but my family and I left Congo when I was 1 year old. I know little about my country, but I was raised by Congolese parents, so I sure do know a lot about my culture. Although my mother is not a very traditional mom, I was in contact with how my tradition portrays women and what it expects from them through my aunts and my cousins who live overseas, and still a tiny little bit through my education at home. Growing up, I could see that my tradition was inviting women and teaching women to abandon themselves a lot. Your husband has to be first, then your children, then everyone else, then you. I did not like this storyline. I wanted to be the main character in my own story, and I wanted this for every woman. I am an artist, and for me, art is a powerful tool of communication. So I decided to use my art to talk to women and to talk to society. I was lucky to live in a few different countries before moving to Canada. Lucky to immerse in different cultures. But although every culture is different, I did notice many similarities between the African culture, the Asian culture, the Western culture, and the Middle Eastern culture in the way women are portrayed. I decided to let my culture, my journey, and the stories of all the women I love and who inspire me shape my work. I am currently working on a graphic novel called Imeni. In my mother tongue, Kituba, Imeni means it's over. When I was little and I was crying, my mother would often comfort me by giving me a hug and saying, Imeni, as a way of saying, whatever caused you pain is over. You no longer have to cry. Imeni. I chose this name to tell women that whatever burden they were facing in their journey to be happier, freer, and to be fully themselves is over. they don't get to live however they wish. Here is a scene from Imeni. In this scene, we can see the main character and her aunt having a conversation. Her aunt is telling her what she, the main character, has to embody in order to be considered a good wife and stay in her marriage. She should not be too outspoken. She should not affirm herself too much. She should be good at cooking and taking care of the house. She should abandon a lot of herself. The themes in Imeni are, of course, women's place in society, women's issue, but the focus in this graphic novel is more women's wellness, women's journey to self-love, and women's journey to finding their voice and their worth in a society that invites them to abandon themselves and seek other people's validation before their own. Why did I choose to focus on this side of women's issue? Because it is a side that is often overlooked. I'm not the first one to talk about women's issue and gender inequality. The feminist movement exists and has been there for a while. We know society expectations for women. But do we address how it affects us physically, mentally, and emotionally on a daily basis? I know a lot of feminist voices that are asking us to be strong women. Femininity is even becoming something that is not well seen in the women empowerment movement. But what if instead of being pushed to be stronger, more resilient, or more masculine, we were simply supported? Supported in this common journey and this common story that we share. Supported and celebrated as we are. The reason behind my work is to encourage women to love themselves, to prioritize themselves, and to embrace who they are. I want them to understand that they matter. I want them to see their worth. I want them to be happier. And ultimately, I want them to understand that they are the main character in their own story. Thank you.